Gadget Man here. Welcome back to the construction paper rocket build, part 4. Today I'm going to do things a little bit different. Discovered a way to make those bulkheads flat. I didn't like how they came out warped and they were so hard, so I think I figured out a way to cure that problem. Also, I made a new bulkhead cutting jig. It's 3 inches by 3 inches and it's like 6 layers deep. And the holes here are actually 3 layers of that cardboard deep, so it has plenty of room for that knife to get in there. Anyway, I'll show you how to use that in a bit. Also, I made a bulkhead compression block. Yeah, when you're all done with the bulkheads, what you do is stack up the bulkheads perfectly, lay them on here while they're damp, and put this on top like that. Put a bunch of rubber bands or string or whatever you got, weights, and let it dry overnight, or longer if it takes that. So today's video is going to be about a new way of making the bulkheads anyway. I'm going to make from scratch 2 more bulkheads. There's a couple here all ready to go, but I'm just going to make 2 new ones so the glue will be all damp on there and everything. By the way, these bulkheads are going to be made for the nose section. There should be 2 of them. Okay, so that's what, if you're wondering what these bulkheads were for. Usually, I was going to do all of it all at once, but it's just a little bit too much to make the video that way. So, what we did is we just made the 2 bulkheads necessary to finish the nose section motor tube. I call it a motor tube, but because it's the same part of the tube. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with this. Okay, now we're going to bring out another piece of this paper, construction paper, and I'm going to do just what you saw me do the last time, except we're only going to make 2 of those. This is just for the sake of proving that that's going to work. Okay. Just, this don't have to be perfect, but the other one should be pretty decent. Get this all put back in there so you won't cut your hands. Hopefully I can keep this build inside the view here. Last time there was a little problem with that. You know what, I'm going to use that. Okay, this don't have to all look that pretty. The glue I like to use actually is this Elmer's Glue All. This is cheap. You can get it in any supermarket, and it's really easy to work with. But I just like to keep the price down. You can make this laminate with fancy epoxies. Well, you wouldn't want to use epoxy glue because that costs a lot more and it weighs a heck of a lot more. Okay, I'm gonna make a makeshift gluer here. I gotta show you how to make a gluer. Okay, and just like before, gonna go this way. This is not the greatest gluer in the world, so I gotta make a new one. And you know what? I'm gonna make one out of this sheet of laminated paper right here. Okay, that looks pretty doggone good. Okay, now, like before. Okay, get rid of that. Where's that burnishing block? Well, you could use this for a burnishing block. The bulkhead cutting jig. And like before, like I said before, if you go like this and that catches on the edge right there, it'll like ruin your piece. Okay, we're just getting this as flat as possible. Okay, good enough for me. Now, get our drawings out. Once again, okay, 0.32, that's the outside. 0.732. I like to get as accurate as I can. Tighten the screw, then double check That makes sure it didn't move. You can see that on there. And that's the outside diameter. So, gonna make our marks on here. Let's see. I am going to just stay away from that wet part. I don't need to jam a bunch of parts in here. Okay, just like that. Set your compass to that, and of course, it's always good to have a blow lead all over everywhere. Now I'm going to set that compass so I can get, okay, that needs to go a little smaller, right down the center of those marks. Alright, perfect. Okay, there's one. Let's go ahead and make two. Just like that. Okay, and that other measurement, as we changed it, we really had to fight with that one. I think we're going to be okay with this. 0.355. Okay, so I'm going to set this. There's the 3, there's the 5. Look at that real quick. Okay, tighten this up. Okay, and you can see that as I have that upside down. Let's turn it around where you can see it. Okay, that's set. Always make sure that little screw is tight. Actually, I'm going to make that mark away from there, because if you booger that little mark up in the middle of the ones you just made, you're going to have a problem. Okay, now. Okay, now let's change this. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Okay, hopefully this video goes. I can get all the video in without the batteries going dead and all that like last time. Okay, there's this one. There's this one. Just like that. Okay. Don't need that anymore. Take your handy dandy scissors. Come over here and just kind of sloppily cut those out. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Alright. Here's how to make a gluer. I don't know. Let's see how wide we want to make that. Just for the sake of, oh gee, didn't show you how wide it was. That's the straight edge of the paper and it looks perfect, so I'm just gonna, let's see, what's a good width? Let's make it 3/4 of an inch wide. You can make bigger and smaller ones. These things last for quite a while, but maybe you wanna make a bunch of these. Okay, take the scissors and just yeah, there I go again, going out of the camera. Don't worry people, I'm new at this. Okay, so it doesn't matter too much about the length. Okay, this is the straightest edge on here, so I'm going to keep this part to the back like that, and maybe give that a little bend upward or something, just so you could pick it up easier. And that's all there is really to that. One gluer. Like I said, you can make a whole bunch of them if you want. Usually make a new one of these. These will last the whole day, one of them. So on the next day, just make another one or grab another one. Now we get to use our new handy dandy bulkhead cutting block. Okay, yeah, that'll look upside down to you. Okay, where's the other one? Okay, right here. Okay, I have an extra one of those I'm gonna go ahead and cut out anyway, if I can find it. Well, then again, maybe not. Oh, there it is. That's from the other day. Well, what you want to do is after you get these marked and cut like this, just let them sit for a little while. Maybe you don't have to. The idea is to put them in between that. let's just say 50% dry, but not dry all the way, because we want to put it in that bulkhead compression block to finish drying. So when they completely dry overnight, and some, when you take them out of there, they'll be perfectly flat. At least that's the idea. Now here's the good idea about using this on this bulkhead cutting jig. And I'm cutting right down the middle of that line as good as I can do it. And the better you could do this, the less you have to sand. I am going to try to do this without having to sand anything. If you're cutting right down the center of the pencil line, you know, it's perfect. You don't need to change it. If you make the cut clean enough, you won't have to sand it or do anything. And that is my intention today. Okay, there's one. This one is still wet. Okay, let's see. Get it started. Okay, because this is wet, you got to be careful with this. Try and get this as close to that edge as you can when you cut it, so the paper won't bend down into it. Yeah, cutting these wet is a little bit tricky. Make sure you have a nice sharp knife. Boy, you know what? Maybe okay, you got too close to that edge. Yeah, okay, next time I make these things, we're gonna leave a little bit more paper around there. That way, this paper will overlap over the top of that gap there. It'll hold your part up while you're cutting it. Okay, make this, yeah, see, that works a lot better. Now I'm coming up, and this makes it difficult. Yeah, see, learn something. Okay, so when you're laying out the bulkheads on the paper, try and leave a 1/2 inch or more gap between bulkheads or the edge of the paper that you're cutting them out on. It's always maybe better to make a laminated sheet a little bigger than you think you need. See how this is working? Don't know if you can see that or not. Okay, getting there. Gotta hurry up and finish this video before the battery goes dead. Okay, that's a pretty good cut. I got held up a little bit. It's a little frizzy. My knife is getting a little bit dull. I should sharpen that. But it's okay just to leave it like that. Now I'm gonna have a problem with this edge. Maybe I'll just start it like this. Okay. Cutting it like this is okay, but it will dull the knife more because I'm cutting into the mat, and it's a little harder to cut doing it this way. I'm gonna go far enough. Okay. Then you don't know if you're cutting all the way through it either. Okay. Continue with that. See how it works really good. It's easy to cut when you have enough overlap of extra material. Could even cut that middle hole out first, but I'm doing it this way. Maybe I just prefer it this way. Now see if I can get this cut good enough, and I won't have to resize it with sandpaper or anything. Just make sure that it's right down the middle of the line you made. Otherwise, if you cut too much of it off, it'll be too loose, and if you leave too much on, it'll be too tight. I'm also thinking about camera angle and all that. Can you guys see what the heck I'm doing? I think I just moved it over. Now the light's on there better. it makes it harder for me to cut it holding it like that. Okay, there we are. Now, being that piece is on there, make sure that's tight on there. Okay, so okay. Yes, my X-Acto blade is a little dull. Now we're gonna do the old scroll saw sort of sawing with this X-Acto blade. Showed you how to use this block on the last video. I made a new block. Careful you don't cut too much off. Come on, down the center of the line. Yeah, this takes a little coordination, a little practice. You might have to make a couple of extra ones. It wouldn't hurt to lay out a couple of extras to practice on, so you can figure out what you need to do to get this correct. Okay, there's that one. Next, I put that blade straight up and down right in the middle of the line, and I quickly give it a little jolt to get it to poke through. Yeah, this is a little tricky. Hope this thing is in the camera lens. Won't know, I can't see what I'm doing with this GoPro camera. I just did some checks on angles of that setup before I even filmed, and I think I got it in the right place. And if I don't, well, you know. Back to the drawing board. Let's do this extra one. This will be an easier one to hit. But you know what? If you let those sheets dry, it might not flatten completely out. I could be wrong about that. Let's retest it. So this will be the test bulkhead. Get rid of all this. Here we go with the sound effects. Hey, sometimes you can make your own sound effects. Maybe that was about 1 minute. Yeah, you could tell these are like damp. Okay, you could see. Okay, so I'm gonna just... Okay. Okay, just like that. I want to put them in the center. I made this block 4 inches square, so in the future when we start building bigger rockets, we could put as big as a 4-inch diameter bulkhead in there. That would, by the way, it would make a massive size rocket. Okay, and try and do this in such a way where you don't, slide this around, lift it back up. I like to be really accurate. Okay. All right. Now, if I had a rubber band, you could take your towel, toss it over there. Okay. And what you're gonna do, maybe let that dry 1 or 2 days. Maybe 2 days is better. 1 day would probably work, but you want to make sure that those things are completely dry before you pull this apart. But being the bulkheads are in there, it's like trapping the water in there, so you know it's going to take a lot longer to dry than you think. I just happen to have a piece of string. Okay, now pick this up. Okay, I'm gonna just wrap the string around this thing. Okay, like that. And like this. And maybe one more time that way. I'm making it tight. I think rubber bands are the way to go with this. But anyway, there we go. It's all ready to go. It's drying. And I'll wait till tomorrow to pull those apart, or the next day. And we'll see how they came out. By the way, okay, let's see. Alright. Well, that's today's video. I'm going to make it quicker because I'm, obviously the other videos had problems with the lights and the batteries and the camera going dead and everything. And it might maybe too much for one video for anybody to sit there and try and do something they've never done exactly like this before. I found my burnishing block sitting over here. When you're in a hurry, yeah, then you can't find anything. Yeah, I got all my tools laid out here neatly. Again, be careful putting that back in there, and you don't want to sit there and go like that. If the plastic breaks, I don't want to go to the hospital. Sometimes maybe it'd be better just to make... Okay, I just kind of hit that on the table to bring that up there. Yeah, sharp knives are a scary thing. Here's something else you might want to make. That's a 1/4 of an inch dowel, and I sharpened it really sharp like a pencil. And the other bulkhead with the holes, with the ejection charge holes, I'm going to push this down in there, rotate them, push this all the way in there, so I can get an accurate size and diameter, 1/4 inch diameter, and smooth those holes out. Okay, that's it for today. We will catch you on the next episode. And if you got something out of this video, please smash the like button and subscribe so you won't miss the next building episode, which will be part 5. We're getting there. Anyway, we'll catch you on the next episode. You have a great day.